5, 4, 3.
Welcome to the 2014 draft, post-draft preview show.
I remember doing this last year. It literally felt like last month. It's amazing how much time flies and how much went down over the last month. Lives are changed. I'm sure many of you out there watching this are either better players or worse players than you were last year.
Maybe
retired players.
Got some rookies.
We do have a lot to talk about this season. Going into this season.
We're running right into it.
And we're going to try to keep this concise because we know how much you guys are right now in work and your bosses are looking over your shoulder while you're watching this. So let's just get right to it, will we?
Okay, the draft, as Sammy mentioned in the email, had many topsy-turvy trades.
Twists and turns.
A lot of stuff happened. We're going to jump right into team after team. Nemi Katz. He's one of these guys that actually went wild with trades.
Wait 1 second. Before we get into Nemi Katz, we have to talk about this whole Donald Sterling situation. Nemi was this close to not being a captain this year due to the off the field issues that as Donald's one of the owners of our the teams of our league, and we're happy we got that out of the way, and we got that cleaned up. So just we're happy to have Nemi back. We're happy that all is well and smooth sailing from here on out. Okay, let's go.
Okay, now Nemi Katz's team, he's one of the guys who actually, I don't want to get into all the trades, but with him it's really specific, amazing stuff he did. He traded his first overall to go down. He got Gabe Abadi.
And then he traded Gabe Abadi. So I think the way you look at it for face value, he traded number 1 overall, which is usually Ali Marshall, which is a back-to-back MVP winner in this league. In essence, after all of the trades that he made, he got 3 second-round picks.
It's debatable. Some people could say it's a great move. Some could say,
I would say
never get away.
I say he did okay for himself. He had a nice talent in the team.
Let's jump right in. We're not going to go through every single player. I want to glare on each team. Each team does have a question mark.
That's true.
Okay? Nemi has 2 question marks. One, we know Ike Mavora was drafted this year as an outfielder.
Right, so Ike was having troubles over the last few weeks pitching due to undisclosed back injuries and shoulder injuries. I think it's from the wear and tear. I think he pitches over 400 innings a year.
Sort of like the CC.
Correct.
CC issue.
So Ike basically went into the draft as an outfielder. He said, I don't want to pitch. He thinks his numbers offensively will reflect towards it. And
right now, he did mention he might want to put on 50 pounds like CC Sabathia, and that might help his pitching.
The Captain Crunch diet.
Right. Okay, but we don't know if that's going to happen because Nemi might be on the mound for a game, and that's already the CC idea.
Well, you can't have 2 CCs in this.
Right. So they might have Nemi pitch both games. Ike, I have a feeling, is going to find his groove and maybe pitch a game a week in the league, and they did pick another outfielder.
Right. I think they picked a lot of strong outfielders.
Yeah, Daniel Abadi as an insurance outfielder.
Right.
So he could do that.
They have guys like Billy Mizrahi,
who was phenomenal last year on the championship team,
which actually should have been more highly praised than he actually was last year. He goes under the radar year after year.
Right.
Plays a great center field for this team. I believe he's playing left
maybe
or
right even.
I'm not even sure. They have a very strong outfield. I think it highlights and starts with Billy Miz.
Right. Eli Harari is their center fielder.
Eli Harari was picked as a center fielder, but people look at Eli as a difference maker. People don't realize that Billy is the same kind of player, as an impact player as Eli is.
I'm going to go that much.
I would say I'm very strong with that. Billy will take the next step.
The question mark on the team, A, was pitching, and 2 was, a couple people bringing it up to me, could ABJ Franco hold down the fort playing shortstop for an entire season?
I believe he can. AB's...
They obviously believe the same because they traded away Gabe Abadi.
Well, if you remember last year... ABJ Franco was Ike Mavora's quote-unquote infielder. He drafted 3 shortstops on that team, and it ended up being ABJ ended up at shortstop most of the season.
That could be why they did the trade. On to the next team. I do like Nemi's team to have a deep lineup, a balanced lineup. On to Joey Bawabe, who took Jackie Towell first.
Luckily, he got Jackie Towell.
Yes, he got him. Second pick overall, he took Jackie. They made the trade. They traded Salim and other stuff to get an all-star.
It was Salim
superstar
and Billy Miz, actually.
Right. To get Gabe Abadi.
So they built around the star up high. They have Jackie up the middle. They have Jackie and Gabe.
And up the middle pitching, they have Ralph Hannon, who's new. Well, he's making after 5 years.
5 years of a disparity of where he was last time when he pitched in our league. But as we know, Ralph Hannon is a two-dimensional player, A, he has the stuff to be an ace in any league he pitches in, and B, he has the hitting abilities to be a 4-hitter.
Right.
So he's the wild card of that team.
They have a couple of question marks around the field, a couple of young players that they took risks on, a couple of old veterans in the outfield that could hold the fort, but after time, wear and tear on their legs, older guys like Joey Levy, could he still do as good a job in the
Joey
outfield?
looks like he's 27 years old. So.
God bless him. He stays young, but that's
And his hair, not a white hair in his head.
unbelievable. Does he color it is the question.
Maybe he does.
Jimmy Malach, onto his team. He drafted an offensive juggernaut, it looks like. Everybody knows the grand question about Jimmy Malach's team.
Well, and I'll address it right away. I ain't embarrassed. I know it's being talked about around the league, and every single office around America is saying, can Jimmy Malach, and if you check the poll question on www.mnsbaseball.com, and it's an overwhelmingly voting, the answer is no. The question was, can Jimmy Malach handle captain duties?
Okay, so I did hear in the summer YMSL league, the post-YMSL summer league, there was more like the minor league one.
Yeah, the hangover league.
Right, they said he held his own, and they said people liked him as
Yeah, but
captain.
that's a step behind of what we are here at the Night League, talent-wise and pressure-wise. You have more characters involved. You have more.
He did pick first overall, maybe the best hitter in the league, Jordy Ramel,
Yeah,
at shortstop.
So Jordy has been, as we see, and no doubt about it, surefire top 3-4 pick guy over the last 3 seasons he's been playing in almost every league.
He's grown himself into one of the best.
So Jordy came up as a third baseman, but now he looks like a dynamic shortstop, and his hitting speaks for himself, batting over a 550 like 3 years in a row, as I was saying. I think Jordy will actually mask a lot of the deficiencies that team does have later in the lineup.
There's 2 questions. Number one, they took Ike Jamal, who was probably the best fielding center fielder in our community, but not right now.
Excuse me, that was 5 years ago.
Right.
So now Ike Jamal's coming off a knee injury. He hasn't played in 3 years. Obviously, Jimmy is confident in Ike's rehab abilities because he selected him quite high.
I'm sure Ike's going to be fine. I don't know if he's going to hit the same. Time will tell. And the grand question of this team comes down to the pitcher's mound. There's a new unknown 33-year-old pitcher that just joined our league.
33-year-old rookie pitcher.
His name is Mo Adams. We hear glowing reports. I had the honor of catching him for a couple of minutes in my facilities when we were working him out.
So I heard from advanced scouting that this one quality that Mo Adams has, which I think will make him a successful pitcher in this league, is he doesn't miss the strike zone. He throws strike after strike.
He guarantees. He has control.
Sometime to his detriment, from what I'm told. But his defense behind him has to be ready to make plays, and he does have a little bit of speed to his pitches. Similar reports we heard when Rob Solomon was a rookie, and we see Rob has flourished into a top 2-3 pitcher.
Right,
in
I'm
league.
not sure if I'm going into Rob's category. I would lay more into last year World Series champion pitcher Ralph Sutton.
Well, Ralph Sutton actually won the MVP of the World Series last year. So if he's anything like Ralph, I think his team is a good shot.
We're going to see what Mo Adams does. I can't wait to see him on the mound. On to Isaac Norwood Dweck, the reigning World Series champion of last year.
The much maligned Norwood Dweck.
Now, Mr. Norwood Dweck went out of his way and did get Morris Shama. Actually, Morris dropped this year.
Yeah, so I would
to
say
the 5th pick overall.
So this is the latest Mo Shama has ever went
in any league.
In any league. Say what that says about our league this year, about the talent, but Mo Shama dropped to number 5. I heard rumblings that Morris was not too thrilled about it. Not to say that he isn't happy to play with Isaac and he won the World Series with him last year, but he has a chip on his shoulder. There's hell to pay for the first 4 teams that pass by Mo Shama.
Not that Morris needs that chip.
But I heard he's really I fielded some angry voicemails, and I have some emails which I saved from Morris saying that he's in a really rough people up. I'm cleaning it up a little bit. But look out for an angry Mo Shama this year. I'm scared to see what kind of player he's going to be.
Isaac did something interesting. He did get his pitcher back, Ralph Sutton, who he won the World Series with last year. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he's got Mo Shama. Last year, he went out of his way and picked a ridiculously talented infield.
I would say that Met infield a few years ago.
Right, 99.
With 99 Mets with Zeal and Ventura, Ordonez. And
this year, he went different. This year, instead of he actually bypassed Salim Levy and went with Carlos Abadie as a center fielder.
Which was at
It was
that
a head
point
scratcher at the time.
not a head scratcher. It was the shocker of the draft to that point, obviously.
Then he went with another center fielder by Natan Safdie, and the big wild card this team.
Let me get into this one because I spoke to quite a few people. There's a rookie in this league. There are two rookies in this league. There happen to be brothers, and they're brother-in-laws of the power-hitting Steven Safdie of the Boys of Summer organization of the YMSL. So these two kids, one's name is Shimmy Cohen,
I don't know about kids. He's 25 already.
a.k.a. Shimmy Coco Pop,
Shimmy, pop.
and his brother Butchie Cohen. Let's get into Shimmy for a minute right now.
So I'm hearing glowing reports about Shimmy. He could play anywhere on the field, from left field to right to center, even the infield
So let's
position
go right
of
there.
third base.
His starting pitcher this year, Ralph Sutton, says he's probably the best outfielder on that team.
So that could be like.
So
you said,
if the way you look at it on paper, they have three center fielders,
that's an incredible.
and
start.
that outfield, and then it's like Max was saying, Norwood went the exact opposite of his way he won last year with a strong infield and a 4 across outfield.
The question on this team, to me, if you're going to go with a question mark, is do they have enough offense? Because they don't have the popper. It looks like they have Carlos, Natan, this kid Shimmy,
I think they can manufacture runs with that lineup.
Morris Shama, and Isaac. They're all good hitters, but they're all more single, slappy, double type hitters, not gap shots and moon shots. Like, they don't have that Sabon, that Soli Cohen, stuff like that in that lineup. So that's something to keep an eye on.
So yeah, let's move on to the next team.
Next, Jackie's
Nathan Zolta.
Nathan Zolta.
Let me get into this a little bit. So quite a few years ago, Nathan Zolta came begging on my doorstep, banging on the door, asking to be a captain in the league. It was an utter disgrace. It was a humiliation to all captainships. He swore it wouldn't happen again. He came back last year with a respectable team.
Great team.
It was
Jocks.
that team was a playoff-bound team, and they really were a few breaks away of actually making a deep run into the playoffs.
They were very close.
So
I think they lost 2 one-run games in the playoffs.
yeah, so they actually came along strong. It was really all of Zolta's boys, so to speak. They call themselves the Jocks. And this
Why
year,
they choose that name, I'm not sure.
no, nobody knows with Nathan with his crazy team names. But we'll just let that slide a little bit.
give
But
him a
this
high
year,
five.
give him a high five. He actually came in this year saying, "I want to be a captain again, and I'm going to try to pick the same exact team." And I don't know how the hell he did it.
But he did it.
He did it, and he even did it where there's one player different on the team.
There was one player missing, and that player he couldn't draft because he's a captain was Michael Sabon Solomon.
So instead of drafting Michael Sabon Solomon because he couldn't draft him because he was a captain, he drafted the next best thing, Michael not Sabon Solomon. So if you look at the rosters from last year to this year, there's maybe a one-player turnover difference from last year's roster to this year's roster.
They do have a Steven Asul in this year who batted over a 500 last year.
Yeah, underrated Steven Asul.
Yeah, now I
the
think
S-man.
I think this year their lineup may be 1 or 2 deeper, which really could be a help. They might be missing that Sabon.
They're missing the thumper, but we know they have the ingredients. They have Eliezer at short. You have Zolta, who I'm hearing is hitting,
ripping it up in the YMSL.
and if he steps up as a better hitter than he was last
that
year,
could be the guy.
that's the difference maker. So
now they do have another wild card on this team. He played in the YMSL about 6-7 years ago. Was a good hitter, making his way back. Is Yitzi Nagar.
So Yitzi Nagar, so I'll give you a little bit of a background on this guy. He trained in the Israeli military for 2 years. I think it was about 3 seasons ago.
I've seen him lift 12 watermelons in a shot. Still does it today.
Wow,
He's incredible.
Yitzi Nagar, when you see him, he's a specimen. We're still trying to determine if he knows how to pick up a baseball bat.
Right, he wants to be called Sexy Yitzi.
Yes.
That's his nickname. That's what he asked. It's not us, that's him.
Right, so that we can't get into that. Yitzi could be a guy in that lineup. I believe he won Player of the Week in the YMSL about 4 or 5 seasons ago when he played the outfield. So let's see if he's a shell of his former self. He was taken late, but he could be a difference maker on that team.
Now, Mo Haber, onto his team, he gave us a team name, and I think it really befits the way he drafted.
Yes.
The team name was Balanced Attack.
See, Balanced Attack is the exact opposite of his dictator team, of his 42 team,
Right.
where he picked 2-3 top-heavy hitters, and the rest, I don't know, question mark, can these guys get the job done?
Or is their defense, or he picked a crazy lineup with no shortstop or third baseman.
Correct.
This time around, Maurice, I think, learned from his errors, and went out of his way to get a shortstop and center fielder right away.
Correct.
And Zach Ashkenazi and David Farka, who both we all know could play those
Well,
positions
and then he nicely filled in the blanks. Bobby Safdie in left, David Rishti
Rishti
at
at
third. It's Meyer Safdie who
Meyer
leads
on the mound.
leads the YMSL in ERA, and we're already in week 5. So Meyer
Still won't get Player of the Week.
They won't give him Player of the Week for whatever reason, but maybe they just don't like him. I don't know what the reason is, but it's an under 2 ERA in softball through 7.
Right,
how many
now,
games?
this is Maurice Haber,
Amazing.
8 games. This is Maurice Haber saying, I would pitch, but he took with his 5th pick, Meyer, to balance the attack.
I think it was a tremendous pick, and I actually think it helped his team enormously.
I think they have a really balanced attack with Zach. Already seeing their lineup.
Their lineup is tremendous, up to bottom.
Right, Zach 1, Rishti 2, Bobby 3, Haber 4.
Tremendous.
Clark, it goes on. They have a really
That
strong
might
team.
be a team to beat if Meyer holds up into his end of the bargain.
Right, now, last team, the 7th team, was a rookie captain for our league.
Yes,
he was a captain in the YMSL.
Michael Sabon Solomon's King Solomon organization.
And I think he really did a really good job drafting. And to give him credit, he was the fastest drafter in the longest draft in history of drafts.
Yes. So to start it off, he ended up being the beneficiary of Nemi's Ali Marshall pick.
And he picked Ali.
He got Ali with his first pick, which he got from Nemi. And then he got guys like Michael Cohen in a trade, who we know is a star center fielder. He got Rob Solomon to pitch, who he swears he's always going to try to play with him before he retires. He finally got his wish because Mike Solomon's grandfather, as we know, is Rob Solomon.
Now, we know Rob is a gamer, and Ali and Michael, I've heard countless times say they'd love to play with him. This is their chance.
I think there's one person on this team that is the make it or break it for them. So, Solely Jenny Craig Cohen says he lost 15 or 17 pounds on his extreme weight loss, weight trim program routine that he's on. If he could be anything like he was a few years ago in the outfield, we all know his bat is there.
Oh, my goodness. He's a tremendous
bat.
bat.
I think his bat rivals his captain Sabon's bat. And I think that lineup will definitely benefit. But if he could play the outfield with any shred of what he used to be, that team will be dangerous. And the other final piece to that team, which Sabon made sure to acquire, was a few years ago, if you remember, Jake Anteby played shortstop for Maurice Haber's team.
I say he's moving to third base,
so
which is a little bit less pressure, and we know he has good hands.
Yeah,
so having Ali, Rob Solomon, and Michael Cohen up the middle, with Jake and then Solely in left field and Michael Solomon at first base himself.
And don't forget Victor Sherman Wright. Victor Sherman
Wright
filled
in the blanks.
Ended up being a good player last year. He actually lost in the World Series, but he played a pretty good right field.
So they have a nice, pretty good balanced team as well. Each team does have a couple of question marks, as we see. Like you're saying, this team, Solely, could he hold it up in the outfield? Just to run it down, Joey Bawabe, we said the outfield corners. Jimmy Malach, the pitcher. Norwood, is there enough hitting? Each team picked well. There's a couple of questions, and that's what we're going to have to find out.
Well, as we see, there are a few... as you see the rosters, there are a few notable rookies in the league. One of them was Isaac Dweck's younger brother, Albert.
Yes.
Plays the outfield. He plays right field or left field, I believe. I think Norwood took him. He's supposed to be a really nice player. We have Jojo Saruya, who was taken, and he's all of a sudden, after he was taken, he's becoming the talk of the draft, how this kid was a steal.
Jimmy Malach has 2. He had Butchie Cohen at third,
Butchie, which
is a power hitting.
Which is Shimmy Coco Pop's younger brother.
I think older brother.
He plays third base. I heard he has great hands. He goes to the cages once a week, hits 80-mile-an-hour pitching. Great player.
And then he has Elliot Sacca, who's flourishing in the YMSL.
For Helter Skelter, right.
That's right. So Jimmy has a couple of nice
First
rookies.
place, Helter Skelter.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Season starting June 18th, I believe. The schedules will be up tomorrow, or when this posted, probably today. Hope you enjoy. Looking forward for many more fun shows.
Amen.
And
all right, until next time, my friends.
We'll see you.